Cancerslug isn't a horror punk band.
You are now watching Music the Lifeblood's Final Thursday.
Hey guys, this is Dustin for Music the Lifeblood. Welcome to Vinyl Thursday. We've been gone for a while. Hi, how are you? Hope things are well. Let's get straight to the point. There's a new Cancerslug album with not one, but two covers. It's a variant sort of situation. It's called The Courtesy Flush, and we're going to talk about it.
Bring out your dead. See through the eyes of the plague doctor's mask. Fill up the beat with the sweetest of scents. Inhibit all forms of my asthmatic death.
Now, I've talked about Cancerslug quite a bit on Vinyl Thursday and on the Music the Lifeblood podcast. So go check those episodes out. I don't want to retread back over ground regarding what I think the band is about, all that other stuff. You can get your fix elsewhere. Now, what's neat about the Courtesy Flush is that we're staring down 20 plus years of Cancerslug. And the great thing about this album is that it retains a sense of familiarity. It sounds like Cancerslug. But the great thing about it is that the sort of ever-evolving lyrical and musical palette that Alex Story is pulling from as a songwriter is changing. It always changes album to album, and the Courtesy Flush, while still feeling familiar, feels equally as fresh.
And you will watch your children die as they kneel. Right into the burning light. Our death god is rising. Right into the burning light. Our death god is rising.
As a lyricist, Alex Story hits his staple topics within the Cancerslug catalog: disillusionment, hate, nihilism, that sort of stuff. But he's also opened up the throttle on some poignant social commentary on what I call Kardashian culture. The album's fourth track, Assassin, is this scathing, stiff-fingered jab at the sternum of the sort of ego-fed social media masses.
Likes and followers, you're trending hard. You're a star. Selfies and video influencer.
Alex continues to be insistent with his critique of the world at large with the album's title track. It crescendos with the entire band chanting, "I hope you die there on your throne."
What you get for living over us smells like you get it now. We need a courtesy flush to get from below. You are so full of shit, you're starting to overflow. I hope you die there on your throne. I hope you die there on your throne. I hope you die there on your throne. Yeah.
Shattered to Pieces elicits a kind of callback way back into the catalog as early as the first album, Whore, with the song Nadia. Now, what I really like about this song is that lyrically, Alex sort of pushes this idea of the mundane surrounding death as a potential side effect of self-destruction. And lyrically, I think laying out on the floor once more, searching for feelings, not the first time death knocked at my door, we're really old friends, says it all.
Laying out on the floor once more, searching for feelings, not the first time death knocked at my door. We're really old friends, I don't need it, I'm doing fine on my own. I'd like to get high all alone, crushing pills in my room with a spoon that's shattered to pieces.
Musically, the album sits in that trademark Cancerslug mid-tempo range with occasional flourishes into down-tempo and up-tempo stuff. But worth mentioning is that I am an absolute dick when it comes to drummers. I'm extremely critical of them. I'm just an ass about it. I think it's because I played since I was a kid. You know, I really fixate on drummers, that sort of thing. But we have an addition to the band. We have a new drummer, Jade Jones. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't have a single gripe about Jade's performance on the entirety of the album. Knocked it out of the park as far as the Cancerslug sort of drumming motif goes. Just amazing performance. I can tell that Jade is fast, but I don't have to hear Slayer tempos to be able to recognize that. I can also tell that Jade has great control of that. It's kind of like a twitchy muscle response you have in your hands, your wrist, and your arms as a drummer. But again, there, I don't have to hear Jade doing blast beats to be able to know that that skill is absolutely there. And also, too, just some tasty accents when it comes to double bass throughout the album. Just great performance by Jade. I see what you're doing over there, Jade, and I like it.
It's over now. We all go down the drain. It's over now. This shit won't leave a stain. It's over now. We all go down the drain. It's over now. This shit won't leave a stain.
As a bassist, Cassie always delivers the goods. She remains focused on supporting Alex as a songwriter, but also supporting Alex as a guitarist, which we don't talk enough about, by the way. But Cassie's got that monstrously thick SVT Ampeg sound behind her, just this massive, dense wall of thundering that she has. And I've watched them live. You know, I've stood in front of Cassie's rig, and it is crushing, to say the least. Now, the great thing about that sort of musical relationship between Alex and Cassie is that we're talking about two people that have played together for 10 plus years, whatever it's been now. And two people that play together that long, they develop a nonverbal musical language. Now, if any of you guys have ever been in bands, you can probably attest to this, that you can just sort of have this amazing unspoken communication with the other people in the band. And with as intertwined as they are artistically, it's amazing to see it. It's amazing to see it live. It's amazing to see it captured on a CD album, whatever you want to call it. I kind of think of Cassie is to Alex as Simon is to Robert from The Cure. She's that ever-present foundation, one of the linchpins within the band. I just don't think we don't talk about Cassie enough, in my opinion. And as monstrous as her bass sound is, and what's even more kind of star of the show on this album, and I would say Sassy for Satan and Seasons of Sickness to a lesser degree as well, is Cassie as a vocalist. We don't talk about it enough because Cassie's voice paired with Alex's voice, it's an amazing compliment. She has that sort of lighter erudite, ethereal kind of thing going on with her vocal delivery. And when you juxtapose that with Alex's, that growl, that deeper thing that Alex does all the time, Cassie stands out as a vocalist all over this album. Just amazing, amazing performance. Her voice, it just cuts like hot knife through butter when it comes to the mix. So I can't say enough good things about Cassie. You know, I interviewed her, I don't know, a couple years ago, I think. It was so fun interacting with someone that was that enthusiastic about the band that they're in. Just Cassie. She's a badass.
It's a scam, a charade. It's the games that they forced us to play. Such a shame. I wasted my youth on a minimum wage, and these motherfuckers try to say I only got myself to blame. Yeah, fuck that, it's time to take what's mine. I ain't gonna live my life like a workhorse built to make some other motherfucker rich.
Alex as a guitarist. Yeah. One of the neat things about Cancerslug is that in a live setting, you might get someone else playing guitar, maybe Kyle or a little bit, Jocelyn for a little while. It's great seeing those other people on guitar with Cancerslug. I think it's amazing. It's awesome. It's a great time. But when it comes to studio work, Alex's guitar playing style is one of the linchpins when it comes to the Cancerslug sound. You cannot have Cancerslug without Alex playing guitar. His style is so unique to him. Just a lot of it is the way he holds his guitar, where he positions his strumming hand, where he puts his thumb on the neck, what he's doing with it, how he's developed his chording style, that sort of thing. It's all him. That's what's great about Cancerslug, is that it's singularly Alex's input is a multi-pronged sort of thing. Most of Cancerslug is sort of emanating from Alex. But I thought about this, what I wanted to say for this episode, and I kept thinking about, I did an interview with Johnny Kelly from Typo Negative. He played drums for Typo, he plays drums for Danzig now. Interviewed Johnny, and we got to talking about Peter Steele as a bass player. And Johnny told me this story of a tech working for the band. I think it was Peter's bass tech, or I don't know what it was, but the tech had to go out there and sound check Peter's rig. And anybody that's familiar with Typo Negative, you know that Peter's bass style is extremely unique. Lots of distortion, not a ton of low end, but more mid-rangey, that sort of thing. And the tech trying to make sure the EQ is correct, just make sure that they have a good volume setting, just checking the sound of the rig. He could not make it do what Peter did. The thing just started feeding back. He could not get the sound check done. And then Peter walks out 20 minutes later without touching a thing, and it's fine. It's just how Peter manipulated the bass, where he stood. He just knew how to have command of what was going on with his rig, even without the levels, the settings of it being changed from when the tech was trying to do it. And I think of Alex and his guitar playing style in the same sort of way. You could take Alex's amp as he has it EQ'd, his guitar, put it in someone else's hands, and it will not sound like Cancerslug. That's what's amazing about players that are multiple decades deep into their catalog. It's just so unique unto him.
Seems easy.
Standout tracks, I mentioned it earlier, Assassin. Just a blistering indictment of the vapid horseshit surrounding social media. I hate Twitter. But I love this song. Time Has Come is this great dissonant tonal jaunt into recruitment of our coven, and it boasts these awesome double bass accents from Jade, and it's got this awesome gang vocal that delivers the hook.
Like the snakes in the dark, we will shed our skins tonight. Spilling blood, changing shapes, now the fun begins. You can be my sacrifice, just watch the blood drain from the altar to the floor. And I hope that you don't take this the wrong way. I can't wait to fuck your core. The time has come to join our coven. Now the time has come to be someone. Now the time has come to join our coven. Now the time to make the world undone.
The Black Death is currently my favorite song on the album. Love it. Great intro led by Jade. Alex's awesome layer guitars. Jade and Cassie's backup vocals. Just everything about the song. Alex encouraging everyone to embrace the plague, the Black Death. It's just utterly Cancerslug.
While all the bodies into the ditch, dust from the just forget. Everybody celebrate the end of the world from the Black Death. Let out the blood, baby, frogs hold the cure. Humors rebalanced, all tortures anew. The Covenant says that sorcery is the blame, but we don't give a fuck, cause all hope is in vain. Let's go!
Let's check out some of the online stuff surrounding the Courtesy Flush. Okay, guys, so we got some online stuff to check out. So the first thing here, this is going to be the original, I believe that's a Facebook post, I believe. So that's Cancerslug at Facebook. The first, hey, here comes the album. That's what we got going on. And obviously, we got to talk about that there's two different covers to the album. So we got a variant going on. But anyway, this was July 4th. 4 different pre-order bundle options available now at officialcancerslug.com. These will all include one of 3 different limited edition posters. Pre-orders available for a very limited time. Click below. Bam. There's that. You can see a little bit of a hint of the Rob Ravenous artwork, which Cancerslug's album's not a Cancerslug album if you don't have Rob Ravenous involved in some way. Dude is just fucking amazing when it comes to illustration. So there's that. And then I think this was, hey, we're going to take pre-orders. That's another post for the first album in the next phase of Cancerslug. There you go. There's an awesome picture of Jade, Alex, and Cassie right there. Pretty sweet. I was excited. It was just kind of like out of nowhere. Like, oh my God, new Cancerslug album. Super excited. All right, so here's Rob's artwork for the cover, which totally fucking sweet. Yeah. I like the rats down there on the floor at the bottom. Just killer piece of artwork. It's awesome. Love it. And then there's the variant cover. And my understanding is that Alex did this cover. He did the photography for it. Which, by the way, Alex is, he's fucking good photographer. Pretty neat. He's been doing all kinds of stuff. Which, awesome looking cover. That's the one I have, by the way. there was, I got an advanced copy of it to review and talk about it on here, obviously. And that's the copy I got. I did the pre-order just like everybody else. I got one of the bundles with the poster thing, and I didn't get the t-shirt, but I did the digipack. Pretty excited about it, but yeah, I have this cover too. We're going to look at it here in a few. And then I just thought this was cool. Awesome press photo for the band. Cool shot of Jade, Alex, and Cassie. Alex in the center though, Jade over there looking like I'm going to play these fucking drums, get out of my way. And Cassie with a whole lot of attitude. I'm okay with that, which is totally sweet. All right, so, and then we want to make mention of, there's been a couple videos that were released. My understanding is that Craig Johnson was doing some video work for the band, and Craig's the guy that did the Courtesy Flush official Cancerslug video. I think he did Shattered to Pieces too. Don't quote me on that though, but old school Cancerslug fans, you guys ought to recognize the name Craig Johnson. Craig played on a bunch of the early Cancerslug catalog. He was one of the guys that Alex and them had originally put the band together. So cool little callback. Plus Craig does some pretty sweet shit on his own. He's got a project called Space Knife, which just absolutely fucking incredible. Awesome kind of synth retro wave sort of stuff. Doesn't sound like Cancerslug, but makes you want to go to the club and dance. It's totally awesome. Anyway, Courtesy Flush official video. It's great. Check it out. It's a lot of footage of them in the studio recording the album. And then obviously we got the Shattered to Pieces video too, which Shattered to Pieces, by the way, amazing song. I think I talked about it at the beginning of the show a little bit. The video is cool too. Video's really, really great. And I think Craig helped him shoot that video too, which super cool. And then I want to make mention of this too. I reached out to Alex and I said, Alex, I can hear a second dude's voice in some of the backgrounds. Is that you or is that somebody else? And he was like, it's Craig. It's totally Craig. I was like, that's awesome. I was excited. Cool little callback into the old school Cancerslug days. All right. And then on officialcancerslug.com, here's the post about the Courtesy Flush pre-orders are now closed, sold out. Thank you to all who purchased. Expect shipping of pre-orders in the first week of August. So there you go. So as I'm recording this, I think what is today? So either August 3rd or 4th. I'm not 100% sure. So depending on when I have this up, you guys may or may not have the album in your hands. But if you don't, you're going to love it because it's absolutely badass. And then whenever I go check out bands' websites, I always like to look around, see what's going on in the online store and let everybody know that's watching the episode kind of what's going on. So there you go. There's quite a bit of merch available. There's Alex Story, Cancerslug logo men's t-shirt sold out. And then there's Cancerslug Hates You. It's an awesome shirt, black and white one. That thing's cool. I need to get one of them. I have a red one. It's got the big CS logo on the front of it. I think I've worn it in a couple episodes. So you guys have probably seen it before. There's the Do Demon Sing DVD. Fuck the Bullshit. This is Cancerslug. CD came out a while back. $12.99. It's totally amazing. And what's this one? Oh, sweet. Rootwork. I love Rootwork. It's a good album. There's hoodies. Hoodies sold out, but hopefully they have them together. Have them again soon. There's Seasons of Sickness, the CD, $12.99. The Storm of Hatred 2015 DVD. You guys should totally get that. It's amazing. I got to see him on that tour. It was a lot of fun. That was the first time I met Alex. I was like, hey man, how's it going? I'm the podcast guy. I remember he was sick that night. Him and Cassie both. They were both really, really sick on that part of the tour. Like it felt terrible for him. It was absolutely awful. And then there's some more, the Symphony of Savagery CD. I thought this one was cool, the Cancerslug Bleeding Eyes t-shirt. That thing's amazing. And then the Rat King shirt. I think that's the one that says We Lie in Wait. Yeah, We Lie in Wait on the back of it. Totally cool. And then let's see what this one is. Masks, sold out. The Soulless t-shirt, Sassy for Satan, and the Dick Solid and the Ratchets, the live CD. Live acoustic, I guess. That's what you want to call it. They had, I think, Cassie, Margarita, and Bobby, I think, were backing Alex up that night, which totally cool. Which, by the way, they had their own thing called Devil's Teeth, Teef, which is really, really cool. It's kind of Crampsy sounding sort of stuff, has a bit of a Billy feel to it, but at the same time, kind of noisy, aggro sort of stuff, which it's really, really cool. It's worth checking out. But anyway, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff on the Cancerslug online store right now, so go check it out. If you didn't do the pre-order bundle, my guess is that they'll do another run of CDs, but if they don't, obviously look for streaming, that sort of thing. The one thing I would encourage everyone is just pay for it. Just pay for it. Don't, I know it's nice to just put on YouTube and, put an album on because somebody posted it, that sort of thing. But working bands, I'm telling you guys, pay for your shit because that's how those bands stay a band. It's my, I don't want to guilt trip everybody, but I mean, to be realistic, if they're doing work, you want to be paid for your work, right? Nobody clocks in at their job and expects to work for free. All right, and then one more time, let's check out both covers. There's the Rob cover. Oh God, that thing's badass. It's awesome looking. And then there's Alex's cover, equally as badass. They're both equally horrifying in their own way. That's what's so neat about it. It's interesting to see the difference in, sort of interpretation, artist to artist, whether it's photographer and an illustrator, or photographer to photographer, whatever the case is. It's just neat to see different iterations of something emanating from another piece of artwork. I just think it's always cool to check stuff out. But yeah, that cover's awesome. But yeah, like I mentioned, that's the one I got. We'll look at it here in just a minute. But, whoo boy, that Rob one is incredible too. Now, it's time to check out the CD. Okay, here we go. CD. It's always funny when I talk about a CD on Vinyl Thursday, but I don't know, kind of makes me laugh, but it's my show. I get to do whatever I want. Anyway, like I've mentioned, this is the Alex version of the album cover. There's the other one. Showed you guys a picture of what it's going to look like. Just keep in mind that the Digipack versions that they had that went up for sale, I think they're coming with a couple different variants or 3 different variant posters, I believe. So be on the lookout for that. Now, I haven't received my Digipack order that I did, but I'll probably do, once I do get it, I'll do a quick little supplemental video that I can put along with this episode just so you guys can take a look at it. But for me, I really wanted to get the episode out just based on the music. So it's awesome that I have the copy that I have. I'm looking forward to the Digipack. But yeah, like I said, really wanted to get the episode up just to be able to talk about the music and, how strongly I felt about the album. So anyway, heads up for that. But this is the version I do have, which amazing. Let's get it out of this jewel case so you guys can see it. Try to get rid of a little bit of that glare, which the CD, I thought it was awesome that they put the print of the toilet seat on the CD, which totally cool. But anyway, there's a good look at the cover. The thing about Cancerslug is when it comes to CDs, the booklets are pretty streamlined. They're not, fussy with a bunch of extra stuff usually, and I'm okay with that. The one thing I always think about is Cancerslug is a working band. So everything that they're doing, you got to think of it in blue collar terms. So a lot of the time, I think my copy of the live album, The Whiskey. So that came off of the Storm of Hatred tour, I believe. So that's been a while ago, but the cover of it is Alex all bloody and cut up, kind of a shot of his shoulders, and then, him, a profile shot of him, that sort of thing. And even my copy of Alabama Bloodbath, the remaster that got released a while ago, I can't remember what year it was, but generally the covers, it's just a real simple insert. And like I said, it's a blue collar band. So from putting, a lot of extra bells and whistles into a release, for me, it's not mandatory, especially when the music is as strong as it is. I don't really get bummed out about it. Never bothers me. But those bands that have to go with kind of a more streamlined, piece of product, it's generally because it's in the best interest of making sure that they have they have money to do day-to-day things, to pay rent, to pay bills, car payment, car insurance, buy groceries, that sort of thing. So for me, I'm okay with this, like a simple one-page insert booklet, whatever you want to call it. I'm 100% okay with it because for me as a buyer and an avid supporter of a band, I know that they're probably getting as much out of the income that they do have coming in as possible. So like I said, it's a blue collar thing. Plus, on top of that too, what it doesn't have maybe in an extravagant book, you have an access to the band. That's the neatest thing about it. I was literally, before I turned the camera on, I was messaging back and forth with Cassie, asking her a couple quick questions about some, older piece in the catalog, that sort of thing. So that access is, I consider, if I could text message Dave Lombardo, I mean, that would be incredible, but I can't text message Dave Lombardo. So I'm okay with that means that I might get a little something more as far as the actual product I'm putting into. So there's a give and take that I think everybody needs to keep in mind, especially with the climate of the music business right now, that if you want your band to continue to be a band, give them your money, period. Whether it's Cancerslug or the Jerry Doyle and Glenn doing the Misfits. If you want them to do some more shows, then go to the show that they do have, buy the shit that they're selling, and that will indicate, you kind of vote with your wallet in that regard, that, okay, if people are buying, that means they might want some more, that sort of thing. So, how it would work in this situation with the album, the CD sold out, the album sold out. That's amazing for the band because that means they put enough money in, to where it wasn't going to go to waste. One of the worst things for a band is that, let's say they do 500 t-shirts and they only sell 400. Now they have 100 t-shirts sitting around that they paid for, that they may not get any kind of benefit as far as profit from. So what happens? They sit on those t-shirts, and that's money that they didn't need to spend in the first place. So I'm sure the CD will hit another press because the demand is there, for one. But for me, it's nice to see that something did sell out, because that means they had 100% sell through, which from a business standpoint is good for the band. That is a good thing. So, there's a lot of people that, well, they only do short little boutique runs of 200. Well, you would too. If you're literally, if that was your day-to-day income, you have to make sure that you're putting in what you're going to get back out, or you're putting it in a way that whatever comes back from it is going to be best for you as the artist and your source of income. Within the Cancerslug fan community, no one bitches, because I think everyone that's a diehard Cancerslug fan understands the blue collar nature of Cancerslug. That though it's art, and I think Alex Story is obviously passionate about his art, but it's still his income. So he has to treat it that way. He's serious about it in that regard, to where no anybody when it comes to their income, you don't want to lose money because it's why would you keep doing it if you're going to lose money? You know what I mean? So that's why I said, when we were talking about the online stuff, pay for your shit, guys. If you're going to listen to it, pay for it because it's going to allow that band to continue to be a band. But I digress. All right. So anyway, here's a good look at the cover. Nice, thick kind of cardstock insert. There's the back of it. Great little shot of Jade, Cassie, and Alex. And I recognize that brick in the background. I've seen it in pictures before. I'm guessing this photo was taken in the rehearsal space. I don't know the lay of the land of Huntsville, Alabama. I no idea, never been there, that sort of thing. But I do know that I recognize these pictures where I remember, I think I might have asked Cassie on Instagram or something. I was like, are you guys in a castle? What is that? Cassie was like, no, it's the rehearsal space. So wherever they rehearse, I'm not 100% sure what's going on with it, but it appears to be, I'm guessing maybe it's underground, which is interesting. What is it? You know what I mean? Is it like a rehearsal space building, like an art building, a co-op where there's spaces people can go in? Like, what the heck are they doing? So it's neat to, the longer you stay a fan, the more sort of knowledge you collect about, your hoarding knowledge about the band, that sort of thing, which I just thought this was cool. Cause again, underscoring the sort of blue collar nature of the band, but cool photo. Super, I always like black and white stuff. You guys know that. I like that high contrast black and white sort of thing that with aggro music and punk rock and metal and stuff like that. Cool little insert. And then I pointed it out. I thought it was awesome. They put the toilet seat on the CD. It was just cool looking, super cool looking. So I'm curious about what the digipack is going to look like as far as like the layout of it, that sort of thing. But like I said, when I get it, I'll give you guys a little heads up, that sort of thing. So, as far as the CD goes, as you guys know, I talk about whenever we get vinyl on the show, I'll talk about, like the quality as far as the pressing goes, the weight, the thickness, that sort of thing. I don't know how much CDs weigh on average. I have no idea. But what I can tell you is this has got some what would we call it? Girth. It's got some girth to it. It's heavy, it's thick, which means, with a lot of CDs, if they're real bendable, like I always think of those old school CDRs that we had when I was younger, when CD burners got really, really popular all of a sudden. Those really junk CDRs that are thin and it just feels like they're going to break if you don't handle it, like it was handle it like a bird's egg or something like that. But this has got some thickness and some durability to it. So, something to think about if you guys are collecting Cancerslug stuff with, thickness and some weight, that means it's going to last. So in and out of your CD player, or whether it's your car, the one in the house, or if you're somebody that likes to burn it, rip it to a hard drive and then you put it on your phone. That's what I do a lot. I have CDs in my car, but usually, if I'm not at home, I'm always listening to music on my earbuds and my phone. So the transfer I did with this to put on my phone was nice and clean, came out amazing, no problems, no skips, no weirdness, nothing like that. And the actual audio of it on here is great. So I was really, really happy to know that the mastering of it, the quality of the sound didn't suffer, because sometimes you can, when you transfer something from, whether it's you recorded it analog in the studio, so every generation you move it onto some other whatever, whether it's tape, from studio to tape, studio to CD, studio to vinyl, you might lose a little bit of sound quality. And as far as like the EQ, the spectrum of the audio, it can kind of degrade and start to narrow. So all of a sudden you're starting to lose low end, you lose some of the definition in the high end, that sort of thing. But sound-wise, the CD sounds absolutely incredible. Not a single gripe from me. And then, there's the other side of it, just so you guys can see it. So, nice clean pressing. No issues as far as, it being scratched or dinged or whatever in transit, that sort of stuff. So the thing came out really, really well. Let me go back in there. And then back cover, just track listing. Trying to get rid of that glare. All songs written by Alex Story. Devil Music, Shattered to Pieces, The Rising, Violence is the Only Way, Assassin, Into the Burning Sky, Courtesy Flush, Unholy Light, Workhorse, Little Weeds, The Black Death, Fuck 12, Do I Look Like I Give a Fuck, Mike's Song, Time Has Come, Pretty Dead, and The Flush, Cancerslug website, and then obviously the Slug Cult Records logo down there. I think it's a good logo. And then Alex's publishing logo. Alex Story Music. Yeah, it's not super complicated as far as releases go, but like I said, guys, I'm 100% okay with it because what matters for me is that the album itself, the music was absolutely badass, and this was absolutely incredible. Blown away by it. Game changer. I did a quick little snippet video that I put up in the Cancerslug, the Slug Cult, the fan group on Facebook that I'm in, and I just put up a video with my initial reactions after my first listen, and I'm still as thrilled on subsequent listens as I was with my initial. Just killer album. I said it in that short video that it's game changer album. I think this album is kind of going to usher in a new era of the band. And I love how heavy the album is. It's heavy in the same way that Symphony of Savagery was heavy. That was the third act, I guess, if you will, in Alex's idea of the sadistic trilogy. Seasons of Sickness, Sassy for Satan, and Symphony of Savagery. And this album is most comparable, in my opinion, to Symphony of Savagery, especially from a production standpoint. It's very dense, very lush, but it's not overcrowded. From a mix standpoint, your ears don't get tired listening to it. Alex's guitars are layered in a way that is the different layers are complementary to each other. Cassie has that nice thick bass tone. Jade's drumming is on point. The EQ of the drumming, the drum mix, that sort of thing. They did the mix of it is just, it's badass. Absolutely badass, in my opinion. It's a game changer the same way that Seasons of Sickness or Alabama Bloodbath were game changers earlier in the catalog. So, man, you guys, pick this thing up. Whatever cover you decide to get, just pick it up. It's absolutely badass. So there you go. The Courtesy Flush. All right, guys, that is it for this week's edition of Vinyl Thursday. But one more thing before we go. So the Courtesy Flush is the first big studio album that Cancerslug has released since the passing of longtime Cancerslug drummer Mike Horgan. And there's a song on here called Mike's Song. Alex wrote a song about his friend. And it's a great song. Loved it. It's totally awesome. I wanted to put something in with the rest of the standout tracks portion about the song, but it just didn't feel right to me. And I think the reason why is that 2 Octobers ago, my father passed away, and my mother asked me to give his eulogy. And hands down, one of the hardest things that I've ever had to do. Just gut-wrenchingly painful. And one of the things that I learned in the process of putting together and giving my father's eulogy is that it was extremely difficult to put into words in the short time frame that I would have been in front of that group of people and talk about just the totality of how my father was great to me. And the more I thought about it with Mike's song, it was almost the same kind of feeling. I just didn't feel like I could really sum up what was great about Mike Horgan as a member of Cancerslug. But the awesome thing is that Alex wrote this amazing song, and Alex was able to sum up what he thought was so amazing about his friend. And for me, yeah, I just didn't feel it like it was right for me to critique that song, you know, whether positive or negative in this episode. It just didn't feel right to me, because I think for me, as whatever the hell you want to call what I do, music critic, I don't know, music commentator, whatever it is, there is nothing that I could put into words that would describe how much Mike meant within the Cancerslug realm. So yeah, it just didn't feel right to go that route. Just didn't feel right. Because I think Alex kind of said it all. He said all these amazing things about his friend. And it felt like to me that as Cancerslug fans, I didn't want to, blah, 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 the song's great, blah, 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 you know. I didn't want to go that route and then play a snippet of the song like I would with the other stuff on the album, because I think that song there's something bigger about what that song could mean to a lot of the Cancerslug fans, whether you knew Mike intimately or not. I think you guys should hear and be exposed to that song in your own way. Do it however you guys do it. But the one thing I will say is that however you listen to it, I think that song is a great opportunity to one more time visit how important Mike was to Cancerslug and just the Cancerslug fan community. So check that song out, you guys. I think it's an important one. So that's it. I'll see you guys next time.